Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the preacher. Okay. Wow. Okay, so for the record, I am known to be a crazy woman. I'm known to be old, black, unwanted, hit the wall, all that kind of stuff. So, with all that being said, who knows what's about to come out of my mouth, you know? And I love it, I love it. I love the freedom that being crazy and unwanted brings. There is life after the wall, guys. Life after the wall. That's what my channel is all about. So, with that being said, throughout my life, back when I was, young and tender, in demand, I learned a lot. I paid attention. I took notes, you know, and on my journey, I realized that we owe God. The way we live our life, the decisions we make, we owe God. We owe Him. You know, a lot of us live a very casual life. We live a life as though there is no account. We live a life as though the good nor the bad is being considered. We just go with the flow. And I want to give credit where credit is due. If it were not for Black women, we would not have a Black race in America today in 2025. If it were not for Black women, we would not have a Black race. And I am proud to be among the Black women who chose intentionally chose to keep my bloodline Black. My daughter has a daughter, so my granddaughter makes number six. She's the sixth woman. My granddaughter is the sixth woman in my family with the potential to have, Black children on the maternal side of my life, the maternal side of my bloodline. And so I take pride in that. I do. And it was a choice for me. I paid attention to the women before me. What choices did they make? And how did their choices contribute to who I am? And how can I continue a legacy? You know, how can I continue wealth, even if it's not considered valuable to anyone else? And I found a way. Find the best possible Black men that I had access to and make sure I have children with them. Well, I only had one um, father of my children, on the biological, natural level. One husband that I had natural children with, period. And I did have a second marriage, and in that marriage, we adopted children together. So the second marriage, he and I did not have any blood children together. I came into the marriage with two kids, and then he and I adopted two boys that were not related. And we, raised up the kids and sent them on. So, yeah, I made a choice for myself. And on my journey, I realized that my body of work has a name. Someone else gave it a name. And it's called the eternal deficit of mankind. I added, someone gave me like the root of the name, and then I, dressed the name up. But yeah, the eternal deficit of mankind indicates and explains how we owe God, how we owe Him. And I'm glad that the topic of segregation has come up again. You know, I'm glad it's come back up because as a foundational Black American, as a foundational Black American, um, and I'm the kind that is native, Afro native, mixed with African slavery, and, a little bit of white, a little, you know. I know where the white come in on my maternal side. My great grandmother, her father was the white plantation owner that she grew up on and basically raised her kids on, you know, and my grandmother was one of them. So that's what I mean by my granddaughter is the sixth person in our bloodline that chose, or yeah, had the right to choose a Black partner to have Black children. So, yeah. And I'm proud of that. And I believe that, I guess I believe in segregation. I'm pro segregation because how else can we keep our bloodline pure, those of us who choose to, those of us who want to, if our options are always whited out? If our, selection of men continually choose white women, then, it really, the foundational Black American bloodline takes a hit. Every time a Black person, breeds outside of us, the Black, the foundational Black bloodline takes a hit. It takes a loss. We are a branch of people who want to stay Black. We want to stay Black. We want to stay Black whether we're, you know, rich or poor, whether rich or poor or in between, if there's such a thing. We have the right to stay Black. And we need to know grandkids too, my granddaughter too. I have 7 grandsons. And we need a community of Black people who are committed. to Blackness. If America is committed to mixing everybody up and almost making it unpopular and almost undesirable and illegal to stay pure, then wow, I have the right to continue my foundational Black bloodline. I have the right. Just like the people who choose to mix up their bloodline have the right to do that, I have the right to keep mine pure. Can't we need to exist in the same world? Why can't mixed families and pure families exist in the same world without all this fighting and chaos? I don't have a problem with mixed nations. I don't. But I have the right to maintain Blackness without feeling bullied, guilted, bad about it, or it being illegal. So again, any family life is a choice, a commitment. So I believe foundational Black Americans need to gather up, identify ourselves, because it's a matter of choice and commitment, preference. I prefer my own people. I do. I have the ability to interact with any race. I love to travel and go all over. I can live and work among any race of people and hold it down, okay? But that don't mean I want to breed with you. That don't mean I want to have sex with you. No. It just means I know how to party. That's it. I can party with anybody. When I go to my new resorts for vacation and stuff, it be everybody from all over the world, and we be partying and having a great time in the hot tubs naked, in the beach water naked, just having a great time running around, letting the sun kiss our skin, regardless of the color. But when it comes to getting married and having kids and storing up wealth, I do what I believe is obeying Most High. So there must be a way to include everyone without it being illegal. There's nothing wrong with mixed nations. I think the Black man and the white woman has done exceptional work in that area. They've created a huge nation of mixedness, and that is to be it's amazing. There's nothing bad to say about it. The Black woman and the white man will never catch up with nor touch that. Even though those relationships are increasing, on a very visible level, lucrative level. We're talking rich white men marrying rich Black women. So, they're catching up. Well, no, they're joining you guys in very grand ways, but they'll never catch you guys. You guys took that and ran with it, and I'm not mad. Like I've said in other videos, the only problem I have with white people is the fact that one of them stole my husband. While I was still legally married to my husband, no matter how raggedy our marriage was, it was none of her business. It was nobody's business how raggedy my marriage was. They still didn't have the right to steal, lay up with him, and then marry him behind my back. Never even said hello. Not to me, to him, of course. you know. So that's the only problem I've ever had with white people, personally. Personally. Other than that, you know, to me, white men mess the game up by, trying to marry every other woman out there in the world and abandoning white women. White men abandon white women by getting with every other woman out there in the world, just throwing money away. And so that left white women abandoned. And the next best thing is a foundational American, which is a black man. Instead of white women running out there, just marrying any and every man in the world, she said, I'm going to keep my money in America. And if the white man don't want me, then fine. I know these black ones will. You know what I mean? They will want me because they poor. And so once the law changed, they created a whole nation out of that. And I'm not mad about that. But with so many black men leaving foundational black America, it left black women without husbands, without committed partners. It left us with men that were playing both sides of the fence. We end up with black men who, you know, had babies with us and had babies with white women. And then some black men just said, I don't want no black women. Y'all just too broken poor. Over here, white people, the life is so much better. I get to eat at these restaurants and, they just treat me so nice. The cars, the money. I mean, we all get it. Nothing, new. So, everything has cause and effect. Everything does. And of course, those faithful white men who decided we are not marrying outside of our race. We are not breeding outside of our race because that was the only way to keep white people going, especially financially. Because now the white woman has the right to divorce and take that money and throw it away to wherever. So there had to be race loyal white men in order to keep white wealth rolling. But black women have held down the black race no matter how the black man treated us. I knew the risk I was taking with the black men that I married. I knew the risk. And they did not disappoint, you know. And which is, I mean, a good thing because, when I talk about the eternal deficit of mankind and how we owe God, numbers and calculations and accuracy is important. The more I can depend on and rely on statistics and trends and, you know, anticipate my partner's next move, then I can make the best decision for all involved. Period. Because I don't want to owe God. I don't want my children to owe God generationally. And to me, race loyalty plays a part in that. And again, for at least six generations now, when it comes to race loyalty and balancing the quote unquote books of the maternal line of my life, we've been good. We've been good, you know, for several generations until a white woman stole my husband and married him. Then that changed the financial picture of my line, my bloodline. That we took a financial hit because of that. Another race, and this one, as far as I know, is white, violated my bloodline of women, six generations, according to my theory. We were good until that happened. And now we have to compensate some kind of way. With the seven grandsons, we don't have a whole lot to work with at the moment, but we got enough to, you know, have our hands in the game. So I know how to protect what little we have from white women. I got seven grandsons to help me become an expert to protect my one granddaughter from white women stealing what little bit we're going to pass down. Now that I know how hard they can come at our generational wealth, money that we earn, and see how low they go, I can warn my daughters, warn my granddaughter, warn my grandsons, and be ready. You know, because this woman here, she came out of nowhere, silently, waiting in the wings for years for her attack, and she was good. She must, you know, go to the gun range often, you know, because I'm precise in what I do, and so it takes another, you know, I mean, you know, from what I understand, she's in the nursing field, so yeah, she understands precision. And so I was a pharmacy technician and have an associate's degree in pharmacy and have a bachelor's degree in industrial environmental health management, which is like health and safety, like OSHA, the right to know. So I'm a precise woman too, very precise educationally, and a dancer, gymnast, you know, with my body. I know how to be disciplined with my body and everything. So, you know, I understand precise energy when I come across it, even if I've never met it. It's that energy. So I know when I'm being robbed, and I know how it affect my family for three generations. It affects me, my daughters, and my one granddaughter. But at the same time, it blessed me because I got seven grandsons to protect my future wealth. Because I know we're going to be like millionaires and stuff. I just, you know, it's just in our, it's in us, in our cards, in our charts. You know what I mean? It's in my heart. It's in my desire. It's in my mind. So I know I got to safeguard this money that I'm going to make from all these 7 possible white women because I have 7 grandsons. So that means that's 7 possible white women to protect my money from so that my granddaughter won't be robbed. Based on what my ex husband did to me, I know how much work I got to do. So that's what I mean by anything that happened in our lives that's good or bad, no matter how bad something happened is, you can learn from it and protect your family from the harm of it. You can flip the harm by learning from it and putting some safeguards and boundaries up. So I have to continue living my life and raising my family as though 7 white women is trying to get our money. I mean, but that is a way for me to develop some mad dog skills. How to protect my money, my future millions from 7 white women. That right there, mm, is some motivation. Because one white woman already then, you know, took an attempt to take our family down. And I would say she did a damn good job. She did a damn good job. She did a good job. I mean, she didn't win. I mean, it's not like I didn't end up with anything at all. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that, to have a silent attack on your, you know, retirement life at my age is some low down work. So I got to make up for that. And it's taking a lot of brain power to do it, which is fine. I love to think. I don't have a PhD for nothing. So again, sometimes people their enemy can s- start some shit in your life, but then you can flip it and end up a millionaire because of it. It's like, well, okay, well, yeah, you hurt me in this way, but then it's becoming a blessing in other ways. Learning to gain from the pain that people cause me. I had to learn to do that as early as 5 years old. Learn to gain from the pain that people cause me. Period. So, with that being said, as a foundational American, I want to thank Black women for keeping the Black race going during the time that Black men were marrying white women and then all other women. But I'm talking on a foundational level where it really hit our pockets the most. While Black men were rushing off in large numbers over these years, many years, to marry white women, which weakens our economy, the Black economy, the Black wealth and legacy. It weakens us when they do that. But I thank the Black women that, have had children and suffered through the abandonment. I want to thank us for holding it down anyway, you know? And we were called hoes and the worst things possible. Just because I was legally married for 32 years don't mean nothing. I'm still in the hoe box. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is, in our community. When you're race loyal, it has its pros and its cons. And one of the bad things about being race loyal, you're going to look like you stupid. You're going to look weak and dumb and poor and, whatever. It just comes with it. It's a part of our contract on this earth. No matter how hard you work, no matter how precise you are, you still going to just look raggedy, like you hit the wall. But life on the other side of the wall, that's where I'm at now. It's fresh work, a fresh stage of my life. And I'm living to express it, share it, you know, the good and bad. It helps some people. The other people it just gives them something to laugh about. you know, it's all good to me. And I also want to thank white men that have done whatever they needed to do to keep white America intact in the midst of all the mixing. White women running off, just giving away money. you know? I, and people may throw words like racism out and all that kind of stuff, and that's fine. Let the chips fall where they might. But at the end of the day, all the mixing and mixing and mixing between the white woman and the black man also attracted all this other stuff that we're experiencing too. These immigration issues. Now, yes. White men, those who be running out there all over the world, marrying everybody, spreading their seeds all over the world. Yes, they are huge contributors to the immigration issues we have too. I'm talking like on marriage law level, things that affect marriage laws, things that affect legacy and generational wealth foundationally here in America. Foundational Americans are native, black, and white, period. It's a very limited population. So I'm talking to us. And so, again, I don't have a problem with our mixed nation. I don't. I think it's just a spinoff from Louisiana. At first, it was white men making sure that their black women and mixed kids, had a certain lifestyle and, just keeping that pool and population like a exotic delicacy kind of thing. I understand that. But it got flipped and became the black man's job to keep a mixed nation going because it wouldn't matter, you know. But in order to keep white America pure, white men needed to keep breeding with, enough white women to keep it pure and keep the money generationally passed on. Even though they were spreading their seed everywhere else, they still had to use certain white women for wealth transfer. Period. So the black man was used as breeding slaves the whole time. So black men, you know, being used to breed a nation wasn't anything unusual. At first, he was being used to breed more slaves to create himself over and over for slave work. But then once all these laws and stuff changed, then the black man was used to breed to keep that whole, mixed nation going, which put us all in the position where whether we are slaves working on a plantation, quote unquote, for free, or whether we are working, pulling big paychecks, small paychecks, as long as we're breathing, the system is set up where white people are going to benefit regardless. Whether we're slaves on a plantation or free to work, it's going to benefit them. As long as it benefits them, it never benefit us as a black nation, as foundational black Americas, because we barely are hanging on here. We have so many other black immigrants that pass for us. Once they have one child with us, now, you know, that child takes on a complete black identity. And people will say, well, doesn't that add to you guys? No, because immigrants do not think the way we think. They didn't have the same experience that we've had. It's not the same experience. The Africans, I call cotton picking. The African blood in us that is cotton picking is different than the immigrants that come to America from all over. It's a different experience, a different legacy, a different claim. Again, according to my eternal deficit of mankind theory that is being developed, explained, laid out here on YouTube. As just, a 55-year-old black woman who was born and raised in Detroit, according to my theory, I should be a complete failure. And some people may say you are. Okay. But the point is, I was supposed to be. But because I understand and the understanding developed at an early age, bits and pieces developing over time, the understanding started in elementary school. Even though statistically I should be a failure in life, um, due to divine intervention, I didn't hit the bottom as hard as I could have. I'm nowhere near as bad off as I could be. So the point is, even though your life may be contracted and scripted a certain way based on where you were born, the time you were born in, the type of laws that were, around during your birth and all that, can determine the outcome of your life. Your birth can determine the conditions, the situations and circumstances around your birth, whether seen or unseen, known or unknown, can determine your outcome. What your life expectancy and cycles should be. But sometimes, Most High, which I call divine intervention, and then sometimes other interventions, like the law can change and then change back, you know, stuff like that, legal interventions. And there are many types of interventions that can exist that can kind of alter and change your outcomes. Sometimes minor changes and sometimes major. So again, thank you guys for listening. I didn't know exactly what was going to come out of my mouth, but something did, and I have 4 likes. So thanks. I have 4 likes that I can see. You know, and thanks for the likes. Click subscribe. Yes, click subscribe. You know you want to subscribe, and you know you want to hit that notification bell so that you can be one of the first ones notified when my videos hit. And I'm not monetized anywhere on social media yet. Um, so I do accept donations, love offerings on my PayPal, which is Dr. Leisha the Preacher, just like on my channel. You all be blessed and have a wonderful day. Thank you.